next minute, 3 women somewhere in the world are going to be told that they have breast cancer. And that could be you, it could be the person that you love, it could be your mom, your daughter, your wife. And they will experience a lot of pain during treatment. They'll experience anxiety, sleep loss, lack of femininity, to name but a few things. And another thing that a quarter of them will experience is also lymphedema, which is an irreversible condition, which is the swelling of your arm. It can get 3, 4, 5 times bigger than your body, and then these women have to wear clothes to fit that arm. So not only have they been through this, then there's even that added indignity. And actually lymphedema, the bras that are worn afterwards can be a contributing factor. So it's important what you wear post-surgery. So this leads me on to Beth. I'd like to talk about Beth. Beth is an Australian. She's a nurse. She is a mum. She's a wife. And she's also a breast cancer survivor. And Beth put this campaign up on Facebook after she had gone through her treatment. So as you can see, she had a double mastectomy. She had reconstruction from the fat from her lower stomach. You can see where the drains were put in, which would be because they removed her lymph nodes. So as you can see, there's an awful lot of ravages on her body. And she put this up on Facebook because she wanted the world to see what lies beneath somebody who looks very beautiful and looks very normal when she's got her clothes on. I was very disappointed to hear that she got a huge amount of hate mail after she posted this, and an awful lot of her so-called friends were no longer her friends. I think it was massively admirable of her to do this, and she is the reason why I started Theya Healthcare. So she represents all the women that we want to help, and we want to help them through the lingerie that they wear afterwards, which I'm going to talk about now. And Anna's already pretty much talked about my background, but the catalyst to Theya Healthcare was when I had a lingerie shop in Ranelagh in Dublin, where I'm from, called Cupcakes. And I had left the corporate world not knowing what I wanted to do. And I kind of stumbled into this, to be honest, and I knew nothing about the lingerie world. I taught myself the whole entire industry. I taught myself how to fit, and I specialized in maternity and nursing. And what happened was I had a lot of breast cancer survivors coming into me after surgery, looking for something comfortable, supportive, and feminine. And they said they couldn't find it, which really surprised me. Now, I didn't specialize in mastectomy at the time, so they were willing to buy maternity or nursing bras, though, because they were so uncomfortable in what they were wearing. And you can be left infertile after breast cancer treatment, so that's a big deal for them to want to wear something like that. So I had a look into the market, and what I discovered was that my now competitors are actually prosthetic companies. So they're making the breast forms, and they were making the bras to hold up their breast forms, so it was scaffolding. And I'm not sure if the woman came that much into their thought process, to be honest, because the bras were very functional, very ugly, very, very difficult to wear, actually. And these women are wearing them 24/7 for up to 8 weeks, and it can be longer depending on what they go through. So for me, this was a real aha moment. I was like, well, we need to do something here. Like, why isn't there something that these women want? So I went to Enterprise Ireland in 2012 when they put the word female in front of their feasibility fund for the first time. Over 200 women applied to the fund. 30 of us pitched, and 15 of us got a grant of €20,000. So with that money, I went and did focus groups with 80 breast cancer survivors in Ireland and in the UK. And I did the 2 countries because I wanted to see whether there was a difference in the market. So we listened, and the women told us what they wanted, basically. And we literally put her at the center of everything and designed for her. So all of our design features in our products come directly from what she said she wanted, needed, or was missing for her when she went through the treatment. And then validation obviously is very important. We did up 6 iterations of samples before we went to market. I was very lucky to have a very qualified lingerie designer with over 25 years in the industry working with me. So we made sure we got it right before we went to market and actually started getting customers. I must say, when we were doing the focus groups, the women themselves were an inspiration to me, and it's the basis for our brand. So I was so humbled by how strong they were and how determined they were to get better. So I wanted my brand to represent them, and which is why we went with Theya. We just changed the spelling slightly. She's a goddess of power, so it's all about female strength and making them feel self-confident and good about themselves at a very, very bad time in their lives. A lot of it is psychological. They don't want to talk about it. They'll only talk about physically how they feel. And obviously the psychological is massively important as well. The brand symbol is actually my paternal grandmother, Rose Donlon, had a double mastectomy back in a time in Ireland when you didn't even speak about breast cancer, let alone say you had a double mastectomy. And her name was Rose, so we've immortalized her. In all of our products, roses appear everywhere. So I suppose what did we do? So what have we done different for these women? So this is Sarah, who was one of our first wearer trialers, actually, for the bras. She had a double mastectomy and a reconstruction. So what they wanted is, it's not rocket science. They were looking for comfort. They wanted their body image. They wanted to feel better about themselves. They still wanted to feel like a woman, and that can be difficult if you've lost one or both breasts. And for us, also, the healing part of it was something that I stumbled upon because I was hearing them all in the focus groups talking about how itchy, scratchy, uncomfortable the bras were. They couldn't sleep, they were on hormone treatment, they were sweating a lot. And obviously, if you're not sleeping, you're in pain and you're also worrying, well, it's going to affect you. So I discovered bamboo as a material. I was just looking for something better than cotton, and all my competitors were using synthetics. So I wanted something better than cotton, and I discovered bamboo. But I also knew I wanted to sell to health boards, and we are an NHS supplier among others now. I knew if I went to a doctor and said, hey, I've got bamboo material that's antibacterial and will make your patients heal faster, that I would get laughed at. So we went to Amanda McCann, a cancer biologist in UCD, and I had an oncology nurse do her research master's with us. She looked at the properties of the bamboo material, and then she also looked at the psychosocial impact of what you wear for the 4 weeks post-surgery. So just in terms of the scientific testing, we grew the 2 most virulent bacteria found in breast wounds on our bamboo material mix, and we also grew it on 100% cotton, and we basically waited to see what happened. Our bamboo material mix was 93 and 97% resistant to the growth of that bacteria, which basically means you have a very, very small chance of getting an infection if you're wearing our products post-surgery. It's also anti-ober. This is all natural, by the way. There are products out there that are dipped in antibacterial washes, but this is naturally occurring in the fiber, in the cellulose of the bamboo. 59% more absorbent than cotton, 19% better at wicking away moisture, which means a lady stays cool and dry and comfortable while she's going through chemo and radiotherapy, and a fully breathable fabric. And because of that, we have a patent pending in the post-surgery space because of our bamboo material mix, which gives us the competitive edge in the market. The other side of it was looking at the physical and psychosocial aspect of what goes on basically for them. We asked them a questionnaire the day after surgery and then 4 weeks later to see how they felt. Now, also take into account that this is probably one of the worst periods in their lives. Body image increased for those wearing our products and actually decreased for those wearing our competitors. Health status increased for both, but it increased a lot more for those wearing ours. And for me, the really big one is pain levels. Reduced for those wearing ours and increased wearing competitors. So I don't know what type of a company can have products on the market that make the people who are wearing their products feel worse about themselves in a time where they need to feel like they're wearing a hug and a bra, which is what a lot of our customers say, which you're going to hear one of our customers now, hopefully.
I had a mastectomy done and a reconstruction.
Okay.
And then when I woke up from the operation, I had the most comfortable bra in the world on me. There's nothing like it. I've seen other bras, but the Theya bras are definitely the best. In fact, it just felt like an armchair for the breasts. I never had any discomfort in all the year I had them on, and I just didn't want to take them off.
I'm not going to dwell on this slide very much, but what I did want to say was and actually Anne mentioned it, the Cartier Women's Initiative Awards, which is a social impact competition and worldwide competition, which I was very lucky to be laureate last year for Europe. We've had 5 Irish female finalists over the last 6 years and 4 winners. So they love us Irish female entrepreneurs. So you either have to have social impact on people or on the planet. So we had both on women, and also the bamboo is sustainable. So I would encourage any of you who have a budding idea to please apply for it, because it's closing at the end of August, and I'd love to see some more Irish females as part of that. And I'm there to help if you do decide that you want to apply. So I suppose just for the future, I'm out of time. So for the future, we definitely see ourselves, myself and my team, as we innovate from a place of empathy. And we have lots of other products coming soon to look at different groups that need help, and maybe through symptom control. One of those actually being EB, Deborah, who were on the stage yesterday. We're working with them to develop some garments for some of their sufferers. And then 3 years later, we spent the first 2 years pretty much piloting here in Ireland to make sure we got the products right. We're now in 8 countries around the world. We're an NHS supplier, as I mentioned. I'm very proud to say we've just signed up with Walmart.com and Jet.com in the States. So we'll be able to hopefully get an awful lot of American women into our bras post-surgery. And I'm just going to end with a quote from one of my role models, Coco Chanel. And success is often achieved by those who don't know that failure is inevitable. Thank you very much.